As well as talking about thoroughbred rehoming, another vital part of educating the equestrian world about this great breed is to get them jobs within the racing and breeding industry. Steve and Eliza Grant's Silverdale farm has done a wonderful job with their academy, attracting a new generation into the racing and breeding world. Jemma Still is the perfect example of this, having found a job as a stable staff member with Paul and Martha Cave at their Warwick farm stables in Sydney. Jemma, it's great to see you here at the training stables of Paul and Martha Cave. You've done the Silverdale Academy course, we'll talk about that in a minute, but tell me your background. You've done a bit of work with horses, but not a lot over the years. What was your horse background before doing Silverdale?
So I finished year 12 in my HSC last year. So while I was at school, I worked at a riding school for 4 years. I started when I was 15 and I'm 19 now. So I'd work once a week on a Saturday, like saddling horses, like leading them, feeding, riding. And then when I finished school, my plan was to have a gap year. I knew what I wanted to do, to work with horses, like kind of like a stable hand job, and I thought maybe racing. And then my careers advisor at school actually sent me the Silverdale Academy program and said like, oh, like maybe this is something you should do. And at the time I thought, oh, like I wanted to have a gap year and I didn't really want to study, but I thought it was a great opportunity and I didn't want to pass it up while it was there. And like I spoke to some people and they said like about how good it's been for like past interns and that. So I did that Silverdale Academy, and then after that it made me realise that I definitely want to work in a racing stable with the horses. And I knew like what sort of hours and like that working every day it involved, and I thought I do want to do that. I know a lady that does equine sports therapy. She actually works on horses here. I did my work experience with her in year 10 and actually came here once. So it's funny I've ended up here. I asked her like, does she recommend any stables? Because like there's so many stables. I didn't know like who, like I didn't know, because like I haven't been in racing before, so I was like, don't know any of the trainers, what they're like, what their stables are like. So, and she recommended Paul and Martha. So then I rang Martha and she said come in for a 2-week trial to see if I like it and if I'm suitable for the job, and I'm still here almost 6 months later and I absolutely love it.
So if someone's watching and they're thinking about doing, you know, the Silverdale Academy, what was your day-to-day work? What did you learn through that course?
The main thing through Silverdale is like learning how to handle the horses safely. We came to Warwick Farm for a week, like, and yeah, we had people come and speak to us. We did some handling with the clerk of the course horses, which was really good, and they taught you like how to use like the chiffney bits and like leading them in and out of boxes, which is what I do every day here. So it was good to learn that because I didn't have to do that at my other job.
And they're very different, these thoroughbred horses, to riding school horses, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, they're very different. They're so sweet and lovely, but like they can get strong. Like it's good to know how to like handle that. Like if you get in a situation, like if they do become a bit strong, that you're able to safely handle them and like be confident about it.
A lot of it is down in the Southern Highlands at Silverdale Farm, so you really get a view of what the stud side of the racing industry is as well as the racing side.
Yeah, you get to see like everything about the thoroughbred breeding and racing, and to see what like path you might want to take. Had people come and speak to us about like nutrition, that do the feeding for horses and that, which was really interesting. Like, you think you want to be in the industry but you might not want to handle the horses at all. Like there's so many jobs like that you can do to still be part of it and be around the horses but not actually have to touch them. But I knew I want to touch the horses, I want to handle them, that's the best bit, like, and going to the races and that.
7 Labelle Claire, Sean Guymer for Paul and Martha Cave.
And you've obviously got a passion for the horses. Tell us about your first time strapping a winner down at Kembla Grange, a favourite horse of yours. But tell us about that day and you know, the first time having a winner.
It was very exciting. I couldn't watch the race at the end when she was coming down because she's so good. She led like the whole way. I don't even know how to describe it. It was just so amazing. It's like an experience like no other. Like you can't compare it with anything. It's good like to know that you've worked with them every day in order for them to be able to perform to their best. Like not just at the races, but in their everyday work as well. You definitely have to be passionate to do it though. I feel like if you don't enjoy it or if you're not passionate, it's hard. But I am passionate about it and I love it, and that's what gets me up every morning at 2:30. Like it's great.
You're looking at doing the leadership course now for Silverdale. Tell us what you want from that.
Yeah, so I'm looking to further my skills in leadership because my main job around the stables is to run the stables when like Martha is out riding with the track riders. I want to get better at that, like to be able to manage that better. So I think that's very important, like to be able to lead a team, especially like in this industry. Like if you don't have teamwork, it doesn't work.
I'm glad of the training that she has received because the facilities we've lost here to train people, we need, we need such. And Jemma came here fairly competent, handling horses, but still has a lot to learn, and she's going very well.
Over the years, you've dealt with a lot of young people, and it is important for them to get that right education about this industry right from the outset, isn't it?
It is. When I trained them, those people, we had a lot of facilities here. We could ride all day. Now that the track's closed at such and such a time, the area down there we call Riley's was open 24/7. So you could take a kid down on a summer's evening, which I did with the Berry boys, and put them on the lunge, arms folded, and that sort of thing, and they learned to ride.
What would you say to trainers that are looking at taking on staff, whether they've come through Silverdale Academy or another training sort of course? How
I think
important is it?
It's essential, because if they haven't got some training like that, it's quite daunting going into a stable at 4 o'clock in the morning, boom, boom, boom. If they've had a bit of grounding, well, at least they know what's going on.
As far as Jemma herself, what does she contribute here? Because she's only really starting out in the industry. How much work, it's great to have that pair of hands and another staff member so keen.
Well, that's the number one thing, keen. She'll develop under my wife's guidance and be able to approach everything. Whereas if she was in a bigger stables and a number, she'd find it more difficult, First of all, they learn to put horses on the walker, clean the stables. And my wife then assesses them the next step. And the next step is you can take this to the pool and swim it. And they graduate from there. And then the races. And she's been to the races and she strapped a winner, didn't you? Yeah, but it's a slow process, but definitely it needs the grounding of training before they come into stables. Definitely go for as much training as you can prior to coming in to a stables or getting a job in the stables. It's so full on now, racing, and there's so many horses trained on the tracks. It could be frightening if you haven't had the training.
What are the best things for these young kids coming and working in a racing stable?
You go from dawn till dusk. The fresh air, working outside, definitely a plus rather than sitting in an office. If you like horses, you'll have plenty to do with them, Those that learn to ride in training should go to a pre-training farm or breaking-in farm before they hit the race course, because the race course is, especially Warwick Farm and these city tracks, is full on and quite daunting. No matter how good a rider you are, if you haven't got the familiarity with riding race horses in an environment, a quieter environment first, then you can come into the stables.
It is a great program, and I feel like Like, it helped me decide that what I want to do. If I didn't do that and came into a racing stable, I probably wouldn't have had much confidence being able to handle them, and it definitely teaches you a lot. And it brings new people into the industry, people that might have thought that might not have been an option for them, like especially people that have maybe never done anything with horses before, like, and they think, oh, this might be a good program, like, and then they end up doing it as their life career. Like, it's great.